Classification of Whittaker 1. Dear students, we were discussing that when we try to find out the similarities among the organisms so that we can keep them into different classes, groups, genres or species and study them. This grouping is known as classification. Come, let us learn more about classification. Classification makes the study of a wide variety of organisms easy. Classification is the tool which one can deal with great diversity of living forms. Classification projects before us a picture of all life forms at a glance. Classification is essential to understand the interrelationships among different groups of organisms. Do you all know that it was Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC, also known as father of zoology, who for the first time classified animals into two groups: animals that can fly, that live in air; animals unable to fly, that live on land or water. Main drawback of Aristotle's classification was that altogether different organisms were placed in same group and similar organisms were placed in separate groups, like corals, whales, octopuses, starfish and sharks are entirely different animals living in sea. So, there is need to decide what characteristics should be considered for classifying living organisms. These characteristics should be interrelated. Some of them are as follows: cell structure, unicellular or multicellular, autotrophic or heterotrophic, level of organization, body design. It was considered that present living species appeared on Earth in existing form 2 centuries ago. We all know that origin and diversity in species have been explained on the basis of evolution. The species changed slowly over generation. In due course of time, the various groups of plants and animals have developed. As a result, many different species evolved, each of which adapted itself for particular environment. Evolution also explains the resemblance between different species. This is due to the reason that all the species are related by the descent which have common ancestor. So the process of evaluation from a single ancestral species of a variety of forms which occupy somewhat different habitats is called adaptive radiation. During the course of evolution, we find some groups of organisms have ancient body designs which have not changed much. These organisms are known as primitive or lower organisms, while there is another group of organisms which have acquired their body designs during the course of evolution. These are known as advanced or higher organisms. We can define the diversity of life forms is known as biodiversity. Diverse life forms share the environment and are affected by each other too. As a result, stable community of different species comes into existence. The warm and humid tropical regions of Earth between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn are rich in biodiversity, so these are called the region of megadiversity. The biodiversity is concentrated in a few countries due to the presence of favorable climatic conditions. About 50% of planet's biodiversity can be found in countries like Australia, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, China, India, Indonesia, Madagascar, Malaysia, Mexico, Peru, and Zaire. Some eminent biologists such as Ernst Haeckel (1894), Robert Whittaker (1959), and Carl Woese (1977) tried to classify all living organisms into broad categories called kingdoms. Classification of Whittaker, Part 2. The classification of life forms is related to their evolution. The major characteristics considered for classifying all organisms into 5 major kingdoms are: they are made up of prokaryotic or eukaryotic cells. Organisms are unicellular or multicellular. Robert Whittaker proposed 5 kingdoms system in 1969, which has become a popular standard and with some refinement is still used in many works and forms the basis for newer multi-kingdom systems. It is based mainly on differences in nutrition. His plantae were mostly multicellular autotrophs. His Animalia multicellular heterotrophs, and his fungi multicellular saprotrophs. The remaining 2 kingdoms, Protista and Monera, included unicellular and simple cellular colonies. Later on, Carl Woese made little modification by dividing Monera into 2 subkingdoms, Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. All the organisms are classified into various levels as follows: Kingdom, Phylum, Plants, Division, Animals, Class, Order, Family, Genus, Species. The main characteristics of kingdom Monera are that they lack nuclear membranes, are devoid of plastids, mitochondria, and advanced 9+2 strand flagella. All single-celled eukaryotes are placed under Protista. The Protista have simple organization. They are unicellular or they are multicellular without specialized tissues. Kingdom Fungi is the kingdom of multicellular heterotrophic decomposers. Example: yeast, mucor, agaricus, etc. These are heterotrophic fungi. They may be saprophytes or parasites. Plants are living organisms belonging to the kingdom Plantae. The plant cells have eukaryotic structure with prominent chloroplasts and cell wall mainly made of cellulose. Nomenclature is the system of naming living organisms, that is, plants and animals. There is need of nomenclature because common names cover only localized organisms and do not cover plants and animals of entire Earth. Kingdom Plantae, Part 1. Dear students, we all see a wide variety of plants in nature. We also know that on the planet Earth, there are about 500,000 species of plants on Earth. Plants are living organisms belonging to the kingdom Plantae. The plant cells have eukaryotic structure with prominent chloroplasts and cell wall mainly made of cellulose. Plantae include algae, bryophytes, Pteridophyta, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. The scientific study of plants known as botany has identified about 350,000 extant species of plants defined as seed plants, bryophytes, ferns, and fern allies. They include familiar organisms such as trees, herbs, bushes, grasses, vines, and green algae. Green plants, sometimes called viridiplantae, obtain most of their energy from sunlight via a process called photosynthesis. A few members are partially heterotrophic, such as the insectivorous plants or parasites. Bladderwort and Venus flytrap are examples of insectivorous plants, and Cuscuta is a parasite. Kingdom Plantae is further divided into various divisions at the first level according to fact that plant body has well differentiated distinct components. Kingdom Plantae is next divided into various divisions according to fact that differentiated plant body has special tissues for the transport of water and other substances within it. Kingdom Plantae is further divided into various divisions according to ability to bear seeds and whether seeds are enclosed within fruits. Kingdom Plantae is further divided into two divisions: cryptogams with spores, hidden reproductive organs; thallophytes, bryophytes, and pteridophytes come under this division, phanerogams with seeds. Gymnosperms and angiosperms come under this division. Do you know that Thallophyta is derived from Greek words thallus, plant body without root, stem and leaves, plus phyta is equal to a plant. So the plants do not have well differentiated body design. The plants in this group are commonly known as algae. Kingdom Plantae Part 2. Dear students, as we were talking that wide variety of plants is present in nature, we also know that on the planet Earth there are about 500,000 species of plants. Plants are divided into algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Come, let us learn more about Kingdom Plantae. Bryophyta is derived from Greek words Byron is equal to moss or a liverwort, plus phyta is equal to a plant. So, the plant's body is commonly differentiated to form stem and leaf-like structures. The plants in this group are also known as amphibians. There is no specialized tissue to conduct water and minerals. Some common examples are Funaria, Marchantia, Riccia, and Anthoceros. Likewise, Petridophyta is derived from Greek words petris is equal to fern plus phyta is equal to a plant. So the plant's body is commonly differentiated into root, stem and leaf. There is specialized tissue to conduct water and minerals from one part of the plant body to another part. Some common examples are Marsilea, Lycopodium, Selaginella, Equisetum, Azolla, Adiantum, and Dryopteris. Similarly, gymnosperm is derived from Greek words gymnos is equal to naked plus spermos is equal to seed. Gymnosperms are most primitive plants and their seeds are simple and naked, that is, seeds are not enclosed inside a fruit. They are usually evergreen perennial and woody plants. They are further divided into two groups, Cicadae and Coniferae. Some common examples are ginkgo, Sias, and Pinus. Kingdom Plantae Part 3. Angiosperm is derived from Greek words angion is equal to case, cover plus spermos is equal to seed. Angiosperms are highly evolved plants and they produce seeds that are enclosed within the fruit. The reproductive organs are aggregated in a flower, so they are also called flowering plants. Embryos of plants have cotyledons. These cotyledons are leaf-like, so they are also known as seed leaves. On the basis of number of cotyledons present in seed of plants, angiosperms are divided into two groups. Monocotyledons, mono, is equal to 1. Dicotyledons, di, is equal to 2. Some common examples are pisum, pea, solanum, potato, rosa, rose, ficus, banyan, melea, neem, malus, apple, and mangifera, mango, etc. Kingdom Animalia. Introduction. Animal cells do not have cell walls. Most of the animals are mobile. On the basis of their habitats, there are three types of animals. Aquatic, example fishes. Or terrestrial, example reptiles, mammals, etc. Aerial, example birds on the basis of their habitat. On the basis of level of organization, animals either have cellular organization, example sponges, or tissue organization, example coelenterates. According to symmetry, animals are either radially symmetrical, example sponges, coelenterates, and echinoderms, or bilaterally symmetrical, example nematodes, arthropods, annelids, and vertebrates, and some are asymmetrical, example snails. On the basis of body cavity, the animals are either echolomates, example colintrates and flatworms or pseudocolomates, example nematodes. According to presence of number of germ layers, animals are either diploblastic, example sponges, colintrates, or triploblastic, example flatworms to mammals. Kingdom Animalia, Part 1. Dear students, we know that the animals are multicellular eukaryotes with heterotrophic nutrition, locomotion, and sensitivity through the nervous system. They are included in Kingdom Animalia. Animals may be at cellular level, tissue level, or organ level of organization. Body of animals can be asymmetrical, radially symmetrical, or bilaterally symmetrical. They may be diploblastic or triploblastic depending upon the number of germinal layers at the early developmental stage. Animals may be acolomates, pseudocolomates, or colomates. We will now discuss some important characters and examples of various phylum of Kingdom Animalia. Come, let us learn more about Kingdom Animalia. Kingdom Animalia is divided into 10 phylum: Porifera, Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Protochordata, and Vertebrata. Do you know the word porifera is derived from Greek words porous is equal to porous plus fere, to bear, which means organisms which bear pores or holes in its body. Due to presence of holes all over the body, there is a canal system which helps in circulating water throughout the body to bring in food and oxygen. The animals of phylum Porifera are sessile, sedentary and marine except one group. They are commonly called as sponges. These are non-motile animals attached to some solid support. The body of Porifera is covered with a hard outside layer of skeleton. Skeleton is made up of calcareous or silicous spicules or spongin fiber or both. The body design of Porifera has very minimal differentiation and division into tissues. They are multicellular, diploblastic, and radially or asymmetrical animals. Some common examples of Porifera are Eucalyptia, Cycon, Spongilla, Cleona, and Euspongia. Similarly, Coelenterata is derived from Greek words coeles is equal to hollow plus entron is equal to gut. The animals of phylum Coelenterata are aquatic and are mostly marine except Hydra. They are also called cnidarians. Coelenterata are multicellular, diploblastic, and radially symmetrical animals. Their central cavity is called coelentrons or gastrovascular cavity, which helps in digestion and circulation. In Coelenterata, the body wall is made up of two layers, outer epidermis and inner gastrodermis. Most of the animals are colonial, while some have solitary lifespan, example Hydra. Some common examples of Colentrata are Hydra, Obelia, Aurelia, jellyfish, and Metridrium, sea anemone. Likewise, Platyhelminthes is derived from Greek words platus is equal to flat plus helmis is equal to worm. Platyhelminthes have leaf-like or ribbon-like dorsoventrally flat body, so they are also known as flatworms. The animals of phylum Platyhelminthes are bilaterally symmetrical, multicellular, triploblastic. Platyhelminthes do not have true column or body cavity. They have digestive cavity with a single opening, the mouth. Platyhelminthes are mostly parasitic and few are free-living, like Planaria. Some common examples of Platyhelminthes are Planaria, Fasciola, liver fluke, Scitosoma and Taenia. Kingdom Animalia, Part 2. Dear students, as we know that complex permanent tissues are of two types, xylem and phylum in plants. Come, let us learn more about complex permanent tissues. Xylem has two types of conducting cells, tracheids, vessel elements. Both are hollow and non-living. Vessel elements are larger, have perforation plates in their end walls, and are arranged to form a continuous vessel for water and mineral support. Tracheids form less obvious means of transport because of their tapered ends. Water moves across the end walls and side walls because there are pits where the secondary wall does not form. Phloem transports sucrose and other organic compounds. Phloem has conducting cells, sieve tube members, arranged to form a continuous sieve tube. Both types are complex tissues because they are composed of two or more kinds of cells. The main function of xylem is to carry water and mineral salts upward from root to different parts of shoots. Phloem transport photosynthetically prepared food materials from the leaves to storage organs and later from storage organs to the growing regions of the plant body. Subphylum Vertebrata, Part 1. Dear students, as we were discussing earlier, that the permanent tissues are of two types, simple and complex permanent tissue. Complex tissues are made of more than one type of cells. All these cells coordinate to form a common function. On the basis of nature of cells, complex permanent tissues are of two types, xylem, phloem. Xylem is the supporting and water-conducting tissue of vascular plants consisting mainly of tracheids and vessels, woody tissue. Phloem is the food-conducting tissue of vascular plants consisting of sieve tubes, fibers, parenchyma and sclerids, also called bast. Diversity in living organism. Dear students, we know that there is a wide variety of plants and animals around us. There are more than 1 million species of animals around whole Earth and about 500,000 species of plants on Earth. On one hand, we have bacteria, which are microscopic, and on the other hand, we have blue whale, about 30 meters, or redwood trees, Sequoia of California, of about 100 meters high. Likewise, insects have lifespan of few days, while trees, especially pine trees, live for 1000 years. These differences are within a species. But within a genus, there are some similarities, like human beings, chimpanzee, gorilla, and monkeys are all alike. Similarly, among plants, melon, watermelon, bitter gourd, pumpkin, bottle gourd, cucumber, etc. have many similarities. But when we study two genus, then we find out they are entirely different. As we have discussed above, that the diversity of living beings on Earth has evolved slowly over millions of years. The variety is so diverse that we can study all of the species one by one in a lifetime. So, we try to find out the similarities among the organisms so that we can keep them into different classes, groups, genre, or species and then study them. This grouping is known as classification.